I never imagined that at 62, after a lifetime of working, sacrificing, and loving my child unconditionally, I would find myself standing on the sidewalk with two suitcases, staring at the front door of the house I paid for, locked from the inside. But life has a cruel way of teaching lessons when you least expect them. My name is Ahmed. I spent over 35 years working as an electrical engineer. I wasn't rich, but I was comfortable. Every paycheck went toward building a stable life for my family. My wife passed away 8 years ago after a long illness, and after that, my world revolved around my only son, Bilal. Bilal married Sarah 3 years ago. At first, I was genuinely happy for them. Sarah seemed polite, educated, and respectful. When they struggled financially during their first year of marriage, I made a decision that came straight from a father's heart. "Come live with me," I told them. "This house is big enough for all of us. Save money, get on your feet." They accepted without hesitation. What I didn't realize then was that generosity, in the wrong hands, becomes an invitation for exploitation. Paying for everything. From the very first month, I paid all the bills: electricity, gas, water, groceries, internet, even their car insurance sometimes. Bilal said work was slow. Sarah said she was looking for something better. I didn't push. I understood how hard the world could be. Slowly, the balance shifted. The house that was once mine started to feel like I was a guest. Decisions were made without asking me. Furniture was moved. Rooms were reassigned. Sarah turned my small study into her home office without even mentioning it. Still, I stayed quiet. I cooked my own meals. I cleaned my own dishes. I tried not to interfere. I told myself this is what fathers do. We endure. But the respect faded quickly. Sarah would roll her eyes when I spoke. Bilal stopped sitting with me in the evenings. They whispered in their room, and when I entered the living room, conversation stopped. One evening, I overheard Sarah say, "This house doesn't even feel like ours with him around all the time." That sentence stayed with me like a thorn in my chest. The day everything broke. The breaking point came on a rainy Tuesday. I returned from the mosque and found my bedroom door open. Inside, my cupboard was half empty. My winter clothes were missing. I walked into the living room, heart pounding. "Sarah," I said calmly, "where are my clothes?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "We packed them." "Packed them why?" Bilal cleared his throat. "Abba, we think it's time you found another place." I laughed. I honestly thought it was a joke. "This is my house," I said gently. Sarah finally looked at me. Her eyes were cold. "It's in Bilal's name now. You transferred it 2 years ago, remember?" My stomach dropped. Yes, I remembered. When Bilal asked me to put the house in his name for future security, I didn't hesitate. He was my son. I trusted him. "Don't worry," Bilal added awkwardly. "We'll give you a few days." "A few days," I whispered, "after I paid everything." Sarah stood up. "We need privacy, and honestly, you're always in the way." That night, they handed me my suitcases and walked me to the door. No shouting, no apology, no shame. The door closed behind me with a soft click. Rock bottom. I spent the first night at a cheap hotel, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of my life where I thought I had done the right thing. I felt humiliated, betrayed, ashamed. But somewhere between the tears and the silence, something else grew inside me. Clarity. I hadn't lost everything. I still had my mind, my dignity, and, most importantly, documents. The next morning, I visited a lawyer. The notice. The lawyer listened quietly as I explained everything. When I finished, he leaned back and said something that changed everything. "Just because the house is in your son's name doesn't mean you have no rights." I learned that. The transfer had conditions. I had proof of paying all expenses. I had witnesses. I had legal protection as a senior citizen. We drafted a formal legal notice. It wasn't angry, it wasn't emotional. It was precise. They were required to either provide me lifetime residence in the house, or pay monthly maintenance, or return ownership. Failure would lead to court action. The notice was sent the same day. Their reaction: 3 days later, my phone rang. It was Billo. "Abba, why did you do this?" he asked, his voice shaking. I smiled for the first time in weeks. "Why did you?" I replied calmly. Sarah called next, furious. "You're trying to ruin us." "No," I said, "I'm protecting myself." Within a week, neighbors started talking. Relatives found out. The same people who watched silently when I was kicked out now asked questions. Pressure mounted. The outcome: 2 months later, we sat across from each other, not in my old living room, but in a mediation office. Billo couldn't meet my eyes. Sarah was quiet. In the end, they agreed. The house was transferred back to joint ownership. I received monthly maintenance, and most importantly, I was offered my room back. But I refused to move back in. I chose peace over pride. Instead, I rented a small, quiet apartment near the mosque. Sunlight comes in every morning. I drink tea on my balcony. I sleep without fear of being unwanted. Billo visits occasionally. He is respectful now, distant but respectful. Sarah rarely speaks. The lesson: I didn't shock them with anger. I shocked them with self-respect. This is what I learned, and what I want every parent to hear. Love your children, support them, but never erase yourself for anyone. Kindness without boundaries invites cruelty, and silence teaches people how to treat you. I lost a house for a while, but I found my dignity. And that is something no one can ever take away.